and welcome to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for today's show. I'm really happy today because we got all our partners here, and before I introduce our attorneys here at PraDa Law, just want to remind everyone of the number on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL, pretty simple. The call is free, the consultation will be free, and of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to our channel because you never know who may benefit from this information. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick off the conversation. Well, actually, let's go ahead and introduce our attorneys first before I forget. Okay, of course, we have Daniel Silver.
Hi, Jackie, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And Jennifer Pratt.
Good evening, Jackie. Good evening to the panel. Pleasure to be here as well.
And of course, Alexis Garcia.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
That's right. So, Alexis,
I'm gonna take this off today. So today, you know, this lovely Tuesday, we're here and it's our family day here at PraDa Law. So family days, we have Attorney Silver, Attorney Silver has been practicing family law for years. I don't want to get the number wrong, but he's a seasoned attorney. He has trial experience. He advocates for your rights, and he knows what needs to be done to help you with your case and win your case. Family is a great topic to discuss and to speak about because it touches almost pretty much everybody's lives. You know, whether you have children, married, divorced, in the process, thinking of becoming married, there's just so many ways that family cases touch everyone and in their lives. So if you don't have anything going on with a family law matter, maybe a family member does or a friend. So as Jackie said, you know, please like, please share, please subscribe, because you never know who you're going to help. Today we wanted to start, though, before we go to Attorney Silver, we wanted to start with Miss Attorney Jennifer Pratt over here. And we wanted her to let us know, you know, what does she see going on in the office with family cases, things she sees, you know, coming into us here at PraDa Law.
Thank you, Attorney Garcia. I'd like to address today, in the majority of the show if possible, just misconceptions, things that people come to the office, whether they're existing clients or potential clients, that they just think they can do or make happen in the family law context. One of those things that seems to be a recurring theme, especially right now with COVID. You know, COVID has affected not only a lot of people financially, but in family cases a lot, whether it's keeping the child from the other parent, you know, not exercising the time sharing, whether it's parents that are not paying child support right now because they've lost their job or their income has reduced. So that's very popular. But one of the things is the taking away of parental rights. You'd be surprised how many people come to the office and say, I want to take, and we're going to, for purposes of this conversation, but really it could be either side. We'll pretend that we're talking about female, women, mothers that come in and say, I want to take his parental rights away.
You see that a lot at the office?
You know what I hear? I hear, I want full custody. And when I hear something like that, I feel bad because I can tell that the client has not been properly educated either by their prior lawyer or by just doing the research on their own, because if they were, they'd find that, you know, Florida kind of abolished in the context of family court, there's no more full custody. I mean, if you're in dependency court and there's termination of parental rights, that's a whole nother chapter, but I'm talking about just divorce cases, paternity cases, getting full custody. When I hear that, my alarm bells go off because I know that I have some explaining to do.
And, you know, I think that's a great point where you briefly touched out, where you stated how, you know, do your own research. I want to individuals say, try to stay away from Google. You know, your Google answers aren't going to be the best answers you get. So come in as a blank slate, more likely to the office, you know, or when you speak with Mr. Silver or Jennifer Pratt to ask these questions regarding full custody. And when does full custody occur? What is the misconception with that?
You know, if you have a case where one parent may have threatened self-harm, or one parent has harmed the children, or one parent maybe is Baker acted or Marchman acted or has a serious hard drug problem. Okay, you know, that's a very small percentage of the cases that we're seeing, but in those type of situations, you know, you could end up with 100% time sharing, sole parental responsibility, or even what you have is limited shared, where it's basically if two parents can't make the decision, one parent has ultimate decision making.
Thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Once again, that number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call because your first consultation will be free.
But Attorney Garcia, even in those cases where that happens, notice that Attorney Silver said you can get 100% time sharing.
That's what I was going to say.
Not custody.
And also that what I was going to ask you to draw the distinction between is Attorney Silver's discussing time sharing, attempting for custody, while you discuss ending, terminating rights. How is that different? Explain that to us, because there is a difference.
There is, and I'm glad you asked. What Attorney Silver is discussing is always modifiable. We have had cases in the office, folks that came to us after they lost some of their time sharing, sometimes all of it, due to things, for example, like drug or domestic violence, drug problems or domestic violence problems. And nowhere in those orders are you going to see that their parental rights of that parent, just because they were, for example, a true, no alleged, it is admitted drug addict, that they completely lost parental rights of their children. So Attorney Silver, what is the difference between using your parental rights? That's something, very different than losing some time sharing, correct?
Okay, so basically in Florida, you've got one parental responsibility, so 99% of the cases are going to be shared, but sometimes it's going to be sole parental or limited shared. And then you also have the time sharing schedule that, the parties are going to be following. So a loss of parental rights, it's not going to happen if, he's a bad dad, or he doesn't spend as much time. I mean, when you're talking about loss of parental rights, I mean, you can't contact the child's doctor's office to get medical records. You can't contact the child's school to get educational records, and it's a very, very high bar, and we're not seeing that it's a very, very fraction of a family case that is going to end up with a termination of rights.
In fact, in the very limited situations that I have seen a parent lose parental rights, I mean, I'm talking about like you don't go back, you don't get your child back and those rights again, are the very limited situations where the mother is probably already remarried and that new husband wants to adopt the child, and so the biological father voluntarily concedes and consents to a termination of his parental rights so that the stepfather can jump in and now the biological quote-unquote father of the child.
Father.
Yeah, other than that, exactly, the legal guardian, the legal father. Right. Other than that, it's very rare, and you'd be surprised how little of something can happen to make someone think, particularly mothers, that they can just strip the father of all his parental rights. Probably not happening.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Pratt. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up on a short break, but we will be back to talk more. So give us, I know that.
No, yes, this topic, misconceptions, I find it's a fantastic topic. Right now, I think we could come back to the new segment and continue on this, because I think there's further clarifications that need to be made, and I'm sure Attorney Pratt would like to go forward with that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. The number is 888-88-LEGAL, 888-88-LEGAL. Remember, we're here, and we're talking about parental rights and whether they can be terminated. I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for the show, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking family law today. 888-88-LEGAL is the number you want to call. The show is live, so if you do have any questions, give us a call. Alexis.
Ready. Thank you, Jackie. Before we went to the short break, Attorney Pratt and Attorney Silver were giving some, I think, fantastic information regarding the misconception of terminating parental rights. Attorney Pratt was explaining how, a lot of individuals, and in this case we just use a woman as an example, would come into the office and say, I don't want the father to have any more rights, okay? We want the father gone. Now, this is something that the attorneys were discussing. It's very rare to occur. You don't see a judge take away a parent's parental rights. And why is that? We were talking about that on the break. Attorney Pratt or Silver, whoever would like to take that.
Science and studies show that a child is just best interest is served by having a mother and a father. And that's, another misconception that I hear all the time is, hey, they're not paying child support, so they shouldn't be able to see our son. And, that doesn't fly. That's never going to fly in court. But, people are under the impression that, hey, if he's not paying me, then you're not going to get to see the kid. And really, the topics they're mutually exclusive.
There we go. That's another great misconception. That's something else apparently we see a lot in the office, that just because child support's not be paying, that means I don't get to see my child. And that clearly is a misconception. It's not true. And you need to consult an attorney when things like this are occurring within your case.
And I'll give you the flip side of that. We have a lot of fathers that come and they say, I'm paying child support, I was put on child support, but I don't get to see my child. Why is that? Well, like Attorney Silver said, they're not mutually exclusive. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes when a father is put on child support, it is typically, at least here in the state of Florida, because the mother at some point asks for some sort of government help from the child. For the child, I'm sorry, I should say. So, for example, health insurance, food stamps, things of that nature. And what will happen is the Florida Department of Revenue steps in and sues the father for the child support along with the mother, so they're both named plaintiffs against the father for the child support. In those proceedings, the only thing that the judge is listening to is the child support issue. What's your income? What's your income? Bam, bam, bam. Let's calculate, you're done.
Right. That's a great point, Attorney Pratt. Now, I'd like to point out, what would your advice be to the father at that time? Is there some way he can expand on that case so he can gain some rights?
If he has to file a paternity case, because that child support case is not going to be doing time sharing, and the family court will be in the best position to give him time sharing, but he's got to file his petition to establish paternity and to, get his time sharing schedule.
Thank you, Attorney Silver. Once again, the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. Your first consultation is free. Give us a call.
And Attorney Garcia, if you're a father listening to us, watching us right now, and you've been served with those child support documents, and you see that the plaintiff is Florida Department of Revenue, I would highly recommend that you lawyer up immediately and that we open up that family case, because your child support is going to be in part dependent on the number of overnights, the time sharing that you have with that child. And if it's not established in the order, which they will not do for you, then you're going to be missing out. Not only that, all of us have different incomes. Not everyone is a W-2. If you're a self-employed or business owner, you really want to make sure that you have an attorney on your side describing and explaining your actual income to the court. Otherwise, what Department of Revenue is going to do is they're going to look at how much money you brought in, what your deposits were, and that's your income. They're not there to do any favors for you.
Right.
They're not advocating.
They're not going to create a profit and loss statement for you.
Right. Isn't it basically like a formula? You just plug in the numbers. You like income, nights, and it spits out almost a number.
You're self-employed and you run your own business and you buy a lot of, perhaps run personal expenses through your business. It has to be done right. And I'll tell you another big misconception. I know of a husband who married people may come in. A husband is, I'm about to get divorced. He may think, my wife's filed for divorce, so I got to get out of the house. And that could be a huge mistake, because once you get out of the house, it may be very hard to get back in.
Well, because it's kind of like abandoning the home.
Well, it's basically, it gives the party who's in the home, it gives them a really good case to file for exclusive use and possession of the home, because the other person's already out,
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call.
So I think just these topics have been very informative, and I don't practice family law, so just listening to the nuances from these two seasoned attorneys, I think have been very beneficial. What we've been listening to and what we've been seeing, and these misconceptions are, it is not easy to terminate the parental rights of an individual when, with children involved. As Attorney Silver pointed out, the best interest of the child is a standard that's going to be reviewed. And typically it's not in a child's best interest to be without a parent. Other misconceptions we've gotten into today are, well, if the mother's not paying child support, can the father hold the child from seeing their mother? And can they?
And no, and vice versa. Like we said, also, if you are paying child support, and I have a lot of fathers that come in and say, I'm paying an exorbitant amount, so much. I mean, like a really large amount. When we go to look at the financial affidavit, we go to look at the math, the income that was used, it's what we were talking about earlier. The DOR, Department of Revenue, just looks at all your deposits. And if you deposited 100 grand, you're looking at $100,000 as your income. Little do they know that you probably only netted 30 because you spent 70,000 on tires, cars, whatever line of business you're in. Right. So it's very important to have your accounting right and to have an attorney on your side, even in those child support proceedings.
Thank you so much, Attorney Pratt. We are coming up on a short break, but we're coming right back with another segment. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Once again, that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. The call is free, the consultation is free. We have offices in Miami, in Doral, in Medellin, Colombia. So stay tuned. We have more information coming after this break. Thank you.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for today's show. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Give us a call, 888-88-LEGAL. The show is live.
Thank you, Jackie.
Alexis.
Thank you so much. So today we've been talking about family law and misconceptions. And boy, have we gone through a ton of misconceptions. So let's just sum up briefly before we get into some additional misconceptions. First, terminating parental rights, it's very, very difficult. Coming into your attorney's office saying, I want full custody of the child. All of these things are going to be uphill battles, especially because the courts are going to look into the best interest of a child. And both parents involved in a child's life is what the court finds will be the best interest. Other misconceptions we've looked into today, and attorneys Silver and Pratt have done a wonderful job in clarifying, are as to whether if one party does not pay child support pursuant to a court order, can the other party who's supposed to receive it stop that party from seeing the child? And that answer is no. They are not mutually exclusive. And if just because you're not paying does not mean you don't have the right to see your child. And if you are the other party who's not receiving money, you need to take the proper recourse and the proper actions in filing whatever petitions need to be filed. Some other interesting misconceptions I'd like to get into this time with Attorney Pratt and Attorney Silver are, what if someone is paying child support and that person remarries? And the person who's receiving the child support remarries and marries somebody very rich. Now, does the old father have to keep paying, or well, still the father, but the old husband, does he have to keep paying the amounts? What happens with that?
Right, and we have seen this in the office where we have a mother who remarries and the new spouse is extremely wealthy, and you've got the father saying, why do I need to keep paying child support? The child and the mother are living better than they lived ever, even with me. But the reality is that in the context of child support, pretty much, and I'm not going to say never, but very rarely would the other spouse's income come into any play, any way, shape, or form. I would say, Attorney Silver, that perhaps there could be an imputation of income if that mother is not working and staying at home and she's getting everything paid for by the new husband. But even then, I would argue it would probably be minimum wage. It's not gonna be exactly what the new husband makes. I mean, there's no way.
No, it wouldn't be what the new husband makes, but let's just say, for example, the wife in this scenario was a teacher and she was making $50,000 a year. In that case, now this new husband supporting her, so she's not working, but a court's not going to impute minimum wage. A court is going to impute that teacher's salary because that's her earning potential, and that's, basically what she should be paying child support on. His bank accounts, his finances aren't necessarily going to be relevant because remember, the Florida Constitution provides for a right of privacy. So this new husband's just really a third party in this person's post-judgment child support case. So, you can't go after his bank statements and credit card statements and all that because it's just not relevant. What's relevant is the wife's earning potential back then and what it is now and the imputation of income.
Oh, okay, that's a fantastic point.
And
I think that
what, per the statute, I think it's 5 years back as to what the wife or mother was working in?
You're looking at, yes, the statute does say that you cannot use records that are more than 5 years old to impute income. So it's a 5-year look back.
So if you're in that situation right now, if your ex-spouse has been married for less than 5 years, this is the time to act now. Because after that 5 years, if she's been at home taking care of babies, taking care of the household of this new rich spouse, you might be out of luck trying to impute that old professional income that she had either as a teacher, a police officer, whatever she was doing prior to that come up.
Once again, the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The consultation will be free.
And we have another misconception that we'd like to get into with Attorney Silver, and that's regarding alimony and the way computation of alimony works. So go ahead, I guess.
I have many clients that will come in for the first time and they're basically saying, hey, my husband makes more money than me or my spouse makes more money than me and I get alimony, and alimony should be so that our incomes are equalized. And that's not how alimony works. The person, the payor, he's going to have a reason to wake up in the morning and go to work. And alimony is not designed to equalize incomes. It's designed to pay for the needs and necessities of the person who's making less money. So there's no equalization of alimony, but people, sometimes that's what they think. So we need to educate them properly.
I have a question with reference to that. Are the needs and necessities calculated at their standard of living when they were married? Are they calculated on just what the average person should be in our area? How does that work?
It's a good question. The statute 6108 has about 12 or 13 different factors that the court's going to look at. So, we were talking about child support. Child support is overnights and health insurance and incomes, and you plug in a formula, and that's what the number is. But with alimony, there's no alimony guidelines. There's basically the judges, has a lot of discretion, and you could have 5 different trials and 5 different courtrooms on an alimony case in Florida and get 5 different results.
And Attorney Garcia, that's an excellent question. But one of the things, again, a misconception that I've seen is whether it's a man or a woman, they come to the office and just because the other spouse makes more money, they automatically think, and they've been married, let's say more than 5-7 years, more than a moderate, they'll say, it's an alimony case. No, it's about needs and necessity. We had a case where one person was making $150,000 and the other person $200,000 or $250,000. Yes, it's a $100,000 discrepancy, but you're making $150,000. Right. The court will probably think you can address your needs and necessities.
And quick question, because alimony is different, obviously, from child support. But is alimony like a one-time payment, or is there like a cutoff time? Is it like child support, where when the child turns 18?
Typically, with alimony, you're looking at anywhere, as far as the duration goes, half the length of the marriage to the entire length of the marriage. And then if you're married more than 17 years, there's a presumption of permanent alimony.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. We are coming to the end of our show. So, Alexis, any last words?
Just that, this family show is probably one of my favorite shows. Again, I don't practice in family law, and Attorney Silver and Attorney Pratt, their knowledge on the subject and in the area, and as a team, these two are the best. You're not gonna, in my opinion, of course, you're not gonna find anybody better than them. Again, if you have any family law needs, if you're looking for advice on alimony, on child support, we're here, 888-88-LEGAL. We'll see you guys next week.